This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Head to NordVPN/Blokes and use the discount code Blokes and you'll get 71% off a 2-year plan, plus an extra free month and a free gift. What do you know about VPNs, Dan?
Bargain. I'm going to use that myself. I actually use NordVPN, believe it or not.
Nice.
Got family who live overseas and they would remind me all the time, I can't get this, I can't access that, I can't. I said, get a VPN.
Yeah.
Which VPN should I get? I said, just use NordVPN. I said, it's the best one. I said, and he said, can you set it up for me? Sure enough, set it all up, sending the codes and everything. And
easy to do.
Very easy to do. Yeah,
nice.
I did it remotely. And but to use a VPN, for me, I mean, I use one myself as well. Whenever I log in, it's security on it's great.
Yeah,
so it's, I can watch stuff from different parts of the world which you wouldn't be able to access if you just go and especially when I used to live in the Middle East and all using a VPN there was just
Netflix, Amazon Prime, all that sort
everything.
of stuff.
You can access certain. There's a lot of, especially if you're traveling as well.
Yeah.
Country to country, there's a lot of restrictions what you can do to access certain things in other countries.
Yeah.
But NordVPN's the best one for me. It is anyway.
Nice. Keeps your data.
It's great that they're a sponsor of the show as well now. So it's
keeps your data safe then, I guess.
Yep.
Right then. So don't forget, head to NordVPN, type in /Blokes, type in discount code Blokes, and you'll get 71% off a 2-year subscription with a free month and a free gift.
71%. It's almost free.
I know you'd be crackers not to, wouldn't you? Right. Cheers for that one, guys. Hi guys, welcome to Office Blokes React. I'm Office Bloke Dave.
I'm Office Bloke Mike.
I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Collectively, we are Le Titties. Le Trois, Le Titties. We are the Office Blokes, and we've got a Patreon page. Office Bloke Mike's going to tell you all about it, I think.
Go on then, quick as I can, eh?
Take your time.
Go to patreon.com and put in Office Blokes React. We've got tiers down there, starting just £1.50. We've got block content. We've got Key and Peele, Malice at the Palace, or Palace at the Malice. Exclusive weekly podcasts for patrons only. So yeah, go down there and check it out.
It's that £1.50.
Yeah.
£1.50.
Said that.
Oh, you did?
$2. You can even get a yearly membership and you get 12 months for the price of 10.
You can indeed, yeah. Sign up for a 12-month period.
Yeah, I was looking on it today, what videos were on there. So I'd say some pretty decent stuff on there that's not come out on YouTube.
Yeah, there's
quite
loads.
a lot as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right then, 10 things I've learnt about America since moving there.
Right.
You've lived there, so you might be able to comment. When you first moved over there, was the one thing that stuck out over everything?
Yep.
What was that?
Some girl come up to me in our office and she said to me, where are you from? So I said, I'm from England. And she went, how long have you lived here? So I said, I've actually been here for about 5 weeks. And she went, oh my God, got all like, I can't believe it. And I was like, I didn't know what she was on about. She went, I can't believe how good you speak English and you've only been here 5 weeks. I was just like, looking around at everyone else, like, is this what I'm dealing with?
Wow.
Oh, dear me. That's a true story, that.
True story, yeah.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Brilliant.
And asking for some butter was a big, like, fucking challenge.
You've mentioned that before, yeah. That's more the accent, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Butter.
you had to say butter.
Butter.
Yeah.
Butter.
Yeah. The guys were like, butter? And I'm like, yeah, butter.
No,
he's like, what is it? And I'm like, I'm thinking, they can't call it something different over here, surely.
Margarine?
That's what I said, and that even confused it even more. And I was like, fuck it, I don't want it, I just have it plain.
Eating dry toast is looking sad. Right, though, let's do it. 10 things I've learned about Americans. It's moving here, let's do it.
Hi, are you planning to move to the United States of
Oh, we've done it before.
We've done a couple of videos
quite
of
a few,
this
hasn't
guy,
it? Yeah.
America? If you are, stay tuned because I have a video right here for you. I am a person, obviously, who has lived in the United States now for 10 years. And over that time, I have made some observations about this very place that I very succinctly want to share with you. So here are 10 things I've learned after 10 years in America. The immigration process is very thorough. We had to send in all manner of paperwork, photos, affidavits from people we hardly knew and hardly knew us. And I'm kidding, it was family members, and all that. And on top of that, you don't just put in all this paperwork and then wait the 9 months, in which time you could have a baby if you wanted, which would mess up the immigration process in many ways. And so we didn't do that. But it cost a lot. At the end of it all, I think we were talking over $1,000 just to get the initial 2-year work and residency stay, and all of that. And then after that, I had to extend it again by another 10 years and put in a lot of documentation and all of that. So it's a bureaucratic process, but it's worth it in the end.
I remember when I flew to Vegas and going through the passport control, and they said, just put your hand there, and they take fingerprints off you. Just put your eyes there, and then they do retina scans of you. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, so there's a database everywhere of everyone's like handprints, retina scans, absolutely everything, just for going on holiday.
But when I went in November, they said to me at the airport, Gaynor, she'd not been back since we left.
Right.
So she had to do her fingerprints and everything, and they just looked at me and went, welcome back, Mr. Ball, and give me my passport. And I was like,
all right.
She's like, how didn't you have to do it? I said, I've been here since. I've done all that once before, and once you've done it once, it's done all that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I suppose it speeds up the process, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I tell you what, the immigration when I went back this time is one of the best I've been to.
Really?
Yeah, JFK
In what
as well.
sense?
Which is,
What, in sense it was quicker and...
It was kind of more polite. They were a bit more organised, because normally you get like about 2 people looking after the foreign immigration, and the queue's normally about 2 miles long. Heating's on, boiling up. So. But it was good.
Better.
Didn't you have to give your social media on the immigration forms?
Yeah, I did.
That's madness.
Yeah, but he said when he's talking there about your applications for your forms, I just give all mine to the solicitor, and it probably cost me about $5,000. But I just give it, and that was back in, when did I go there? 95, 96.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just give him everything. I just went, there's everything. Come back with a visa. And his office was on Fifth Avenue in New York, so I could see why.
Yeah.
Well, this was something that, I came to find just because I ended up living in Indiana, which technically is not the middle of the country. It's in the Midwest, which is a misleading name because it's much closer to the East Coast than it is to the West. But all that to say, it's a little cheaper living inland. In Indiana, we had numerous apartments all over the state, actually, where we were paying, about $500-something for reasonably sized apartments. When we lived in Anderson, in fact, we had a 2-floor apartment, and it was, I don't know how many square feet, 1,200, I think, and we were paying $530. If you go out to Boston or San Francisco or even up in Chicago, which technically is in the middle, but it's its own entity, it's its own country in many ways, population-wise, you are looking at paying a hefty sum of money in those places. And in fact, of course, a lot of immigrants do move to the major cities. But if you're looking to pay a lot less, then avoid the coasts, go inland and see what they have to offer. So the national unemployment rate here, just like anywhere in the world, I suppose, can fluctuate quite drastically over 10 years. Specifically, though, the 10 years that I've been here, if I'm being truly honest, I moved here in November 2008, of course. That's when the recession was really kicking off at that point. And so we were left with an unemployment rate that was considerable. And that was, it peaked, I think, in 2010, and then obviously slowly came down to a point that it is now a very nice looking unemployment rate. But I think the reason I put this one in is because we think of America, don't we, as quite a prosperous nation. We think of it as, the bastion of capitalism. But it, like any other country in the world, does see a fluctuation in the job market and, of course, by extension, in the economy at large. And that's something that really hit home, I think, after moving here, because we were living in recession-hit Anderson, Indiana. Then gradually we progressed into professions that took us further afield, Indianapolis and, of course, Chicago now. And we've seen that difference and what it does to a country.
That peak at nearly 16%, was it?
17.5.
17%. So
that is crackers.
Isn't it?
I wonder if that's
Huge
taken
amount.
into account working age adults or the whole population.
It's usually working age adults,
Yeah, it has to
isn't
be
it?
working age.
Yeah, they don't like school kids retired, people that are
Like
retired.
a 6-month-old baby on the unemployment register.
You can't trust statistics unless you know the background of statistics.
I think you have to be eligible to be able to work to go on that sort of like stat.
Yeah.
But you're eligible
right.
to work until death. So that could be everyone's 16.
It'd be up to retirement age.
I think it's up
Right.
up to retirement, because after that you don't have to work, so it's pointless taking it into consideration, because they don't have to supply jobs for people after that anyway.
It's a hell of a lot of people unemployed.
Well, it's still a lot, that's tens of millions, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you find in America that you don't really get over here as much, or what I found anyway, and this people will probably tell me on this. I've spoke to people in the both on Patreon and on our comment section where people who DM me will say like, oh, I used to live in North Carolina, but now I live in Florida, for example. And people do move around quite a lot, a bit far away.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so he's saying there he went from Anderson, Indiana to Indianapolis to Chicago.
Yeah.
Now he's an immigrant. He's probably just following maybe his work. Work, whatever. But there's a lot of people who you'll find. And, friends I've got over there who are in New Jersey. One of them lives in North Carolina now. Right. So they've moved. They've relocated.
Oh.
Then only how big it is for people moving around the country at distances.
Yeah.
Because that'd be like us moving to Italy.
Yeah,
true.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
of course.
You know what I mean?
Huge distances.
Yeah, I moved from Altrincham to Northwich and thought that was far out. Yeah. Got to get a taxi home from the pub.
Mike's moved from one street to another avenue.
Know,
just off it.
Timperley to West Timperley.
Speaking of fluctuations, the weather in the Midwest is insane at times. Okay, so in the summer, it's sweltering. You know, it can get up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is mental. But then conversely, and I've spoken about this a lot of times on my channel, the winters are like hell. They are freezing. In fact, on average, in Chicago, you're looking at about 7 degrees C lower than you would see in the north of England on average in December. And that's an average. So imagine the sort of the lows. We go sometimes way below zero. I think I've known it since I've been living in the United States to go something along the lines of 15 to 20 degrees C below zero, which is frighteningly cold and not entirely fit for humans. Accents, yes. So just as Americans are often portrayed as only knowing two British accents, you know, the Queen's English and Cockney, we're not that good at knowing American accents, or at least I can speak for myself in that regard. Before I moved to the United States, I think I knew of just sort of basic Southern English, general nightly news, a kind of New York accent, and possibly Valley Girl, right? That's 4. But no, America is replete with far, how many times can you say far in one sentence? Far more accents than that. If you could just look at the South. I said a moment ago that I knew, vaguely of a general Southern accent, but it has plenty of nuances all around.
Lots of diphthongs.
Yeah, diphthongs.
I'm trying to think of other words that
That's the only ones I can think of. Yeah.
It took me that whole bit to think
remember that one.
Diphthong. I was racking my brain going, come on, sound smart.
You can do it.
South. But just up here in the Great Lakes region, right, where you've got sort of Chicago or Illinois in general, and you've got Wisconsin, you've got Minnesota nearby. Those were influenced quite heavily by Scandinavian immigrants that came in hundreds of years ago, and there's variances to accents and dialects up in this region with which I was not familiar. Anybody that's seen perhaps Fargo, might get a sort of broad understanding of that style of speech, but it's not sort of well known to us in Britain. I could and I will and I have done videos on American accents and can speak to it more broadly outside of the context of this list. But it's fascinating and I absolutely love it. You might need a vehicle. Not everywhere has public transit. There's not trains that get you from any city to any city, just like there are in Britain. You will sometimes have to rely on a vehicle. Certainly in Anderson, when I lived there, where, buses were about as easy to find as jobs during the recession. It might have changed now. It was just difficult, and they it didn't exactly as a town specialize in sidewalks. Now that got better when I moved to Indianapolis and Fort Wayne. It was quite pedestrianized, so great, you could walk around or you could cycle. But if you wanted to go a bit further afield, there were buses, yeah, sure, but they were every sort of hour sometimes, and you'd have to wait quite a while. And the only train to speak of in the entire state really is the one that runs from Indianapolis to Chicago and vice versa. Other than that, you're screwed, or you have to drive and get a vehicle. I've since moved to Chicago, and that has a comprehensive public transit system, as do quite a lot of cities in the United States. It really depends on where you live.
I think we do all right for public transport and stuff, don't we, really?
I think in relation to some countries we do, don't we? I think people moan about it's not on time a lot of the time, maybe, or things. I can't. We had the tram the other night, didn't we? It broke down in Manchester.
But we've got the tram system. Then you can always
the
get a bus.
infrastructure
But then there's
thing.
trains as well.
Yeah.
There is quite a lot.
Yeah. Can you imagine the area of America? It's that vast, isn't it?
Yeah.
To get a national network, I mean, it costs absolutely trillions, wouldn't it? To get something like that. So, is it the Amtrak or the whatever that goes? Does that go across the country, or where does it actually go?
I think that's like a global. I think that's a nationwide.
Like the national
rail
sort
network.
of,
But I don't think you can go from like one town to the next on Amtrak. I think it's
you can't go like west to
New
east
York
or
to
anything.
Chicago type thing.
State to state.
State to state.
Yeah.
I never went on it when I was there, so I don't know.
Is it Greyhound buses as well?
Greyhound buses, yeah.
That's
they're
like
like
National Express.
National Express or Megabus or whatever. Yeah, same.
Cool,
I see that sometimes when I'm going home at night. A Megabus goes past me and it says like Bournemouth on it. I'm like, fuck's sake, who's sitting on that all that time? Like 5 hours on that bus. It's going to make about 7 stops as well. I'll be like, God.
Before I could drive, I got a National Express from Manchester to Pwllheli in Wales, which to drive is about an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
7.5 hours on a coach.
No way.
It went to Liverpool first.
For about £4 though, right?
No, it cost.
Nah,
it wasn't one of those routes that was like £1 to go to London. It was like, when I say it cost, it was like 40-50 quid, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
But
it went to Liverpool first, and as soon as we got to Liverpool, the driver just sighed and he was like,
yeah, everyone does that when they go to Liverpool.
I said, why? And he goes, from now on, it's a nightmare. And it's a lot of families, lots of young kids going to like the Butlins, I think it is, or Pontins.
Yeah. Where's that? In where? Where was you going?
In Pwllheli.
Yeah,
there's one just outside.
Pontins,
and instantly there was kids hyped up on sugar, puking everywhere, practically doing backflips.
Screaming, and
I couldn't think of anything worse
in
my life.
I'd rather just walk.
I'd rather just
I
not
could have
go.
walked in that
I'd
time.
rather not go.
Jeez, that's 7 hours.
It's insane, isn't it?
I
That's
just
a nightmare.
I ain't going.
Yeah, no chance.
Yeah.
Absolutely zero chance.
Things you do for young love.
Isn't it?
So, I spoke a moment ago about accents, but just language in general is quite a departure from what it is in the United Kingdom or in Britain. And, I think, obviously, most of us are aware of things like the spelling of colour, the spelling of theatre, and things of that nature. You read them in books and you see all these sort of differences in American films. But once you live here, you realise that not only are there far, far, far more language differences than we ever knew, but that different regions of America itself are different from the other. For example, I was in the city of Boise in Idaho earlier this year, and I discovered that the animal groundhog there is called a whistle pig. Okay, a whistle pig. What a great name that is. And it's just things like that. The more you go around, the more you find there's actually linguistic nuance, to the lexicon, to pronunciation, to spelling, and all.
I thought that was a strip club, wasn't it, the Whistle Pig? Or is that the pig's whistle?
And it's fascinating. There's a wide array of differences, and this is the case for many different reasons, and that's one of the reasons you should follow my channel so that we can go in depth together on those very things. Okay, speaking of things that are big,
that's what we want, isn't it?
I think we knew it. Portion sizes, they are typically greater here. When I, in fact, visited Boston in 2004, I asked for a kid's ice cream, and it was that big, about the size of my face. So they've got big children out there in Boston. But, since I've moved here, I've found this to be the case also. And one discovery that came to light not long after I moved here is that a lot of places, restaurants and the like, once you get a pop, a soda, a fizzy drink, whatever you want to call it, that's another regional difference here across the United States. You get the chance to refill it for free refills. It's encouraged. That actually prompted me to give up pop, soda, fizzy drinks altogether because I found myself succumbing rather too much to that generous offer.
One of the things I remember about when he's talking about words that don't translate well or you use certain things is when my children were little, the ice cream van pulled up outside. We had on the compound we lived on, we had a swimming pool. And it was like a communal pool. Yeah. So I was around the pool, and the ice cream man comes. So I said, "Do you want an ice cream?" He's like, "Yeah." So I go to the ice cream. There's a massive queue. So I'm in the queue or in the line, to get to the front. And the line behind me is about 10, 15 deep. And I said, "Can I have a lemon and lime?" And as I said lemon and lime, he turned round to the freezer. I went, "Ice lolly," and he just went, "A what?" And I went, I said, what was you going to get then?
Popsicle.
Yeah, but I had no idea what he was called. I'm just like, ice lolly? These guys just staring at me, and I'm thinking, he's winding me up here as well, because he knows, but he wants me, and I couldn't think what it was called.
You should have said to him, tell me exactly how many lemon and lime products you've got in stock.
Yeah.
One. Get that.
If I'd have said to him, tell me how many lemon and lime products you've got in stock, he would have gone, you Australian?
Would you understand a tub of flaking?
Oh. 99.
Yeah, 99 with a flake. Did he have
Mm.
flakes?
Yeah.
They do?
That's all right.
That's all right
Save
then,
them.
yeah.
That's all right. You got for flaking it, haven't you?
But I just, that was one of my first experiences of something that wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So it was a crossover of what I didn't know the word.
Yeah, just said what you naturally.
I couldn't think of what it would call it. I'm like, there's nothing else to call it. It's iced. And it's a lolly.
If I lived in the States, I'd be obese.
Yeah.
I absolutely would.
It's very easy to it's very easy to get what you want, when you want, how you want. But it's
plenty of it.
When you go in a restaurant, is that my mum and my dad come over, and my dad's like, can I have some French fries? I said, but no garlic salt on them. I'm like, Dad, just fucking eat what they give you. Just garlic salt, it's not going to kill you. You just don't like garlic. I went, it's not garlic. Just eat it. I get so mad at people when I go out and they go, I don't want this and I don't want that. I'm like,
I asked for vinegar once in France in obviously a French restaurant, and the look on their face was just... They brought me a little shot glass with some vinegar in it and just put it next to me. I was like, you pretentious bastard.
Food in America is spectacular though.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'd be dead if I lived over there. It's hard enough to not be a big fat guy.
We've had to a few videos, haven't we? And look at some of the food over there, and the portions look absolutely amazing.
Ridiculous
really
burgers dipped in cheese and everything
steaks
else.
and all sorts, and that's making me hungry now.
Yeah.
American people get a hard time when it comes to stereotypes, that they're loud, that they are overweight and all of that. And there are statistics to back up, certainly obesity levels in this country. And it's unfortunate. Of course, not every American fits that bill, nor should we demonize those that do. But that's just one stereotype. I think the loudness stereotype is situation specific, right? I think Americans do tend to be louder in restaurants. It's more of a cultural thing for chatter to be, at volume and to happen quite readily. But Americans are not always loud, and it's not like you walk into a library and find it there. It's not like you would walk into a lot of situations and find it. In fact, if you go to a football game in the United Kingdom, there's a lot of loud British people there, right? And so again, it's situation specific, and also I would say the same thing about politeness values. Okay, so British people, obviously a stereotype there is that we are polite, and I'm not saying that some of us aren't. I think there are examples of us not being. Again, at football matches, probably, right? But also in other areas of life. And conversely, Americans can be some of the politest people I've ever known. In fact, to take it back into the restaurants, the waiters are almost too polite, right? They come round just to see if everything's working out for you. And at times that can, to a British person like myself, that can be quite burdensome, because you want to take that time to have a conversation with the person you're eating with, not with the person serving the food. So there are ups and downs to that one, but I would definitely not say that all Americans are direct to the point of being impolite. There is a directness here, but I think that Americans tend to be among some of the politest people I've ever met.
I like the loudness and the way the servers come over, like saying super polite. The customer service in America is second to none. It's some of the best you'll get in the world.
I always thought that they were really polite over there anyway. That's always my perception of it. I may have not been there yet, but from what I've seen,
if you go into a cafe, for example, and you want to order a sandwich, right? How would you order a ham and cheese sandwich? How would you order it? I'm still behind the counter, so you come in. Go on.
I'll have a ham and cheese sandwich, please.
Right. In America, what you'll find is, this is going in the northeast, which I'm using. They go in and go, give me ham and cheese.
Yeah.
On rye.
Yeah.
Are
they Italian?
That's it, yeah. That's what I'm saying, northeast New York. Yeah.
Visiting from Yorkshire.
It's not can I have, please. It's give me a.
That's it.
And you get that a lot.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I was in Vegas, people were saying, get me a beer.
Yeah.
Like that, whereas we'd be like,
can I have a beer, please?
Can I have a pint of whatever, please, mate?
Yeah.
I think I found people very, very polite when I was there. I think we get misconstrued on the public stage that we're polite because of our accents and because we say sorry a lot. Like, sorry, mate, when you walk past. And that's
might not be your fault, but you still say sorry.
Yeah,
There was a lack of politeness with you this morning, wasn't there, Dave?
Dave held the door on for someone.
I called him a naughty word.
Livid.
What do you call him?
It's a word we're not allowed to say on this channel.
Was it see you next Thursday?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, nice one. Favourite word. I wish I'd have heard that.
In front of his daughter.
Bit of nursery.
In the nursery.
I was having a terrible day, and like 2 people had tried to crash into me. He was the second person that I held a door open for that morning that didn't acknowledge me. And I was like, oh fuck, I just want to kill
So
people.
much, do you? Just like, cheers.
He looked me in the eye. He looked me in the eye
Did you
and
not
then
say,
just walked off.
"You're welcome"?
I said something
Like
else.
I always say.
Yeah, you should just don't mention it, mate.
No, I mean, it's a nursery. Isn't it?
But the other one thing about in the USA is going into a sandwich shop. I used to have one. I used to work in this place called Carteret in New Jersey, and it's a bit of a shithole sort of place. And this one guy had the sandwich shop next to where we worked, and I used to go in there quite a lot. And then one day I walked in and he went, and he pointed at the board like that above his head. He saw me coming, he just went. And I'm looking at the board like that, I'm thinking, I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. But he's happy.
Was it Jelly Deals or something?
I'm looking at it like I'm looking at it, I'm thinking nothing stands out that I can think, oh yeah. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, right, I see he's got Old English cheese soup.
Oh no.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, is that what he means? And I said, I don't get it. I went, I don't know what I'm looking at. He went, Old English cheese soup for you. And I went, I've never even heard of it. He went, you kidding me, right? I went, no.
Was it
he
like
went, fucking hell. He said, I've been trying to find a recipe for a soup from England for you.
Yeah, it's probably
And
something.
he'd gone all out and done it. And I thought, mate, I said, I've never even heard of cheese soup in my life.
Well, broccoli and Stilton.
Yeah,
Isn't
I had
it?
that today. Funny enough.
You
But
said
it's not
now
cheese soup, is it?
No.
You should have said, if you're talking minestrone or vegetable, then I'm in.
You know something that baffled me a little bit, and this
So I'm
is
sat there eating my cheese soup.
What was it like?
All right.
so it's something that baffled me a little bit, which is probably a lack of culture on my part at the time, was the amount of options. Like when you say like I'll have eggs and bacon, and like how would you like your eggs?
Yeah. There's options for
And,
options.
and then I'm looking at them and I'm like, cooked.
Yeah.
But then there's
egg.
like, do you want over easy? Do you want sunny side up?
Yeah.
Things like that with eggs. Like there's things where if you don't know, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But I remember when one of Gainer's friends come over to visit us, and we went out to one of the restaurants, and she ordered something, and she ordered a salad with it. And when they come, the options that went with the salad, and I thought, I know what's coming here. And I'm sat there watching.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is going to be funny, because she has no idea. And then they fired in loads of options. She's just staring at me. I'm like, don't look at me. I'm like, I can't help you.
Yeah,
It's great.
That's definitely one to get your head round before you go. I think.
Making me want to go again now, though. All this.
I've only been to Vegas, which is just not a way of gauging what the States is like whatsoever.
Yeah.
New York's
It's
on
like
the
its
list
own
of that,
entity, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Las Vegas. I mean, I've never been there, but going up what people saying, looking at where it is in the middle of the desert, it just looks.
It's pretend.
It's
It's not real. The whole thing is
like
pretend.
Dubai sort of style.
Yeah.
Things like that. You know.
Yeah, it's enforced fun in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
I found, it's like everyone big smiles because it's got to be. It's like Disneyland sort of thing. to
You're
me.
going to have fun.
Yeah. Anyway.
There are multiple states, 11 of them in total, I think 10 of those are out west, that are larger than the United Kingdom, at least in terms of area, not in terms of population. In fact, in the case of Wyoming, it has, I think, a population of about 500,000. There are actually more cows there than people, and yet it's roughly the same size area-wise as the entire United Kingdom. But it's huge. The country is massive, and you only really realise that, I think, when you are travelling around by car, and you see that sometimes it can take more than a day to get through an entire state. The place is huge, and I love it for that, because it means that it's forever going to be an adventure to go and visit all 50 states, which is something that I've been trying to do. So that's it. 10 observations after 10 years in America. I might do a part B. There's a lot more to say. Thank you for watching this video, and
Makes cool videos, doesn't it?
do another one that says, I saw another one come up when I put that in that says more things I've learned, 10 more things I've learned.
Yeah, so that's B. Yeah, watch that as well. Yeah, why not? That's good. That enjoyed that.
Yeah. Well, we've reacted to a lot of videos that are like the most beautiful states, like the most iconic places and things like that, and it does show just how vast and every ecosystem's covered. Absolutely,
every type of weather.
You want to go snowboarding, it's there. You want to go like scuba diving and coral reefs and everything in between.
Every type of scenery, and it's just amazing place.
It's a great place, fantastic place to come visit. You'll love it when you go to New York.
Looking forward to it.
I've seen people in the comments going, "It's actually, so it's not, mate. You'll love it."
Yeah, I'm sure I will.
Are they New Yorkers saying that though? Because
be anyone.
I think they can be quite self-deprecating, New Yorkers, can't they? Yeah. Like it's their sort of thing to put down. But I'm sure if you went, "Nah, it's a shithole," they'd probably kick off.
I'm sure there's places in every city in the world that's a bit dodgy and a bit shitty, isn't there? But
Manchester, can't think any in Manchester.
No, apart from Manchester. I'll send to Manchester.
The armpit. It's the Ferrara of Manchester. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, guys.